This podcast is dedicated to helping high achievers on the verge of burnout reclaim a healthier work life balance without sacrificing growth or success. Welcome to episode 22 of Give Yourself Some Leeway with me, your host, Eugene Lee. Over the month of February, we focused on cultivating a growth mindset. We looked at continuous improvement using concepts such as Kaizen, and removing negative influences from your environment using tools like a digital detox, and overcoming the obstacle of fear, because this can really set you back as you try to cultivate that new growth mindset. Today, I want to share with you a book that I read recently, Die with Zero by Bill Perkins. And while it may seem a bit morbid and distressing to some because it goes into great detail about assessing your life expectancy and how to make sure you die with as little money as possible. In my early 30s, right now, I found it really insightful because it talks about being intentional with your life experiences and choosing to have the freedom of how you spend your time. So today I want to give you my key takeaways that I believe will help you to develop a growth mindset. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate and review this wherever you're listening to. Check out giveyourselfsomeleeway.com, reach out on social media, or shoot me an email, eugene@leeway.ie. Thank you, I can't wait to hear from you, and I really hope you enjoyed this episode. So what I love about Die with Zero is that Bill Perkins has this vision of ending your life with zero money in your bank account. Because a lot of people spend their lives throwing as much money into savings, trying to build up a nest egg for when they retire, or having enough inheritance to pass down to their kids. But Bill makes the point that why wait until you die to pass on that money to your kids? Why would you not try to give them the best experience while you're still alive, to experience it with them, to see the change that you create in their life? So one of the key takeaways from Die with Zero is Bill's idea of optimizing your life experiences. So he encourages you to think about living your life in terms of time affluence, which means having the freedom to choose how you spend your time. He argues that we should prioritize experiences over possessions and focus on making the most of the time we have. So, for example, he tells a story about a man who always dreamed of visiting Italy, but he put it off for years because he wanted to save up enough money to stay in a fancy hotel when he got there. Now, when he finally made the trip, he realized that he missed out on so much by waiting. If he just stayed in a more modest hotel, he would have still had an amazing experience. This is a great example of how prioritizing the experience over the possessions can help us make the most of our time and live life to the fullest. Another key takeaway is the idea of a life resume. I loved this concept. So Perkins encourages us to treat experiences like a resume, where we can look back and see all the things that we've accomplished and all the experiences we've had. This helps keeps us intentional about our time and making the most of the experiences we have. I love this concept because it always reminds me of when I was thinking of good habits versus bad habits. I like the idea of envisioning them on a resume or a CV and being like, which habits would I like to see on my CV if I was going for a job interview, and which ones I wouldn't like to be there, or which ones I'd be embarrassed of. So, a good example of the life resume is in the book. Perkins talks about a woman who always wanted to write a book, but she kept putting it off for years. When she started treating her experiences like a life resume, She realized that she had a lot of great material to draw from and that she'd already accomplished so much in her life. So, this realization gave her the confidence to start writing, and she ended up publishing a really successful book. So, this is a great example of how a life resume can help us see our accomplishments and gain confidence in our own abilities. So, my final takeaway is that Perkins emphasizes the importance of being present in the moment and savoring the experiences we have. He encourages us to balance present enjoyment with future goals so that we can enjoy living in the now and enjoying this present moment while still working towards our long term goals. So, again, another example, Perkin tells a story of a man who always wanted to retire early and travel the world. But he kept on putting it off for years because he wanted to save up enough money so that he could do it comfortably. When he finally retired, he realized that he missed out so much because he had been so focused on the future. He missed out on all these experiences. He realized that he could have been enjoying these experiences all his life long, and he didn't need as much money as he thought. And another thing, when you wait until you're older to experience traveling the world, you have less energy. If you're in your 30s and you're going to wait until you're 50 or 60 before traveling the world, you're not going to have the same zip and energy to try new things or have as many hours in the day. You might want to sleep more or maybe nap more as you're traveling, or maybe you won't be able to go on long haul flights. So it's all about being more aware of your health in your youth as well and taking care of your health in your youth so that you can experience life to the fullest. I suppose one more key takeaway is that Perkins talks about the importance of challenging our limiting beliefs and adopting a growth mindset. You know what? This key takeaway is probably one of the most important in the book for me in terms of developing a growth mindset. He encourages us to be open to new experiences and be willing to take risks, even if we might fail. So, for example, there's the story of a woman who always wanted to start her own business, but she had always been too afraid to take the risk. And when she started challenging her limiting beliefs and adopting a growth mindset, she realized that she had the skills and experience already to be successful. She started her own business and ended up achieving great success. This was a great example of how challenging our limiting beliefs and adopting a growth mindset and taking on the challenge can really help us to achieve our goals and live a more fulfilling life. If you do get the chance to read Die with Zero, I 100% recommend it. It is such a powerful book that offers practical advice for living a more fulfilling life. So, by prioritizing your experiences over possessions, being intentional with how we spend our time, and adopting a growth mindset and not accepting risk as being 100% failure, taking the risk and achieving that success. And if you don't achieve that success, experiencing the process. That's how you can make the most of your time and achieve your goals. Thank you, and I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Give Yourself Some Leeway. And if you did, please rate and review wherever you're listening to this. It makes the podcast more easily found. And if you got value from today's episode, please share with family, friend, or a loved one because they may benefit from it just as much as you did. If you have any questions or any feedback on the topic, or maybe ideas for future episodes. You can reach out to me at giveyourselfsomeleeway.com or send me an email, eugene@leeway.ie. I read everything myself and usually respond within a day or so. So, yeah, I look forward to hearing from you and I hope you have a great day. And we'll talk soon.